Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's stream of ravorisports. My name is Charles. I'm with ravorisports. So thank you for watching us this week. We are here now in December. So thank you very much. Happy holidays to each and every one of you. If I may be the first one to say it, if I haven't already said it, or if you haven't already heard it. So now we're here in December. So happy holidays to each and every one of you. You'll be the first one to say that this month. So welcome to our stream, ravorisports. This week, you know, we got to get our business out of the way, as we do all the time. We got to get our business out of there. First of all, our business is shirts and hats and swag. My daughter would put it. ravorisports swag. So definitely you could go on the website very soon. Announcement of the site, actually named right now this week. I have been loading a lot of the merchandise we already have on the website this week before we make an announcement. There'll probably be a video announcement before I actually announce it to everyone yet. But the site now is in the process of being built and recorded and everything like that. We will have it very, very soon. Sooner rather than later in the next month, we'll have an announcement for sure. Also, to my other business that I have, Genesis Notary Services. You can see at the bottom of the screen, Genesis Notary Services /Facebook.com. You can book a session right on there, or you can go to Google. So you can just go ahead and Google it. If you live in the Shenandoah Valley area, we'll be doing notary services for those of you that live in Shenandoah Valley area in Virginia. Absolutely. Soon, hopefully, not quite yet in West Virginia or Maryland yet. We're working on that right now. I'm in the process of working on that, how to get that notary all squared away in those states as well. But certainly in the Shenandoah Valley area in Virginia, you could do that. Or Northern Virginia, you know, we could come on out there and get that squared away for you. And again, I think I already mentioned that you may see some videos pretty soon as well, announcing the website. You may see a haul or something like that. It's just kind of showing you exactly what the merchandise looks like. Something like this: Oriole hats, Oriole jerseys, things like that. Some of the merchandise will be older as well, so we'll have used merchandise and we'll have brand new stuff. So if you're looking for brand new stuff, more expensive, that'll be there. All right. So let's get down to business of football. So we had a game on Sunday. I heard a lot of people complain about the game. It was ugly. I'm more old school. I don't mind games 9 to 10. It doesn't have, every game doesn't have to be. I swear sometimes football fans want games to be 56 to No, it's not arena football. NFL. 10-9. It wasn't a great game, but it was okay. I didn't think it was as bad as some old school game here. Ravens on the right side of it, 10-9. Fortunate to win, say the least. That's had a lot of challenges though during the game. I will say when you lose your starting quarterback and you lose the middle linebacker during the game, it's fortunate to win. You want to at least get the win going forward because it's like a double loss when that happens. So they did okay, and they were successful. Lamar was injured in this one, so Tyler Huntley played. Tyler Huntley was 27 of 32, 187, one pick, one interception, 10 yards, 10 attempts on the ground, 41 yards. When John Harbaugh stated a long time ago that he was going to go with Lamar as the starting quarterback when Joe Flacco was out, he was going to do this. He was going to have a guy like Tyler Huntley, a guy not as good as Lamar is, but guys like him, so you didn't have to change the offense tremendously, with the backup. And I think that's exactly what Tyler Huntley fits the bill as. He's a guy, gutty performance, let the team down and drive. Did get some breaks, I for sure. Those two penalties, they don't get those two 15-yard penalties. They don't score. They got a fourth down. I think it was a 4th and 2. I think he had to run it. They got it. They don't score, but they scored. Good for them. Good job by Huntley in relief. Good enough to win. Lamar it apparently is a strained PCL. He's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. Harbaugh seemed somewhat relieved when I saw him in the presser talking that it's not worse than that. And so he should be back. He doesn't think, unlikely he'll play this week. I don't think they're going to rush him. I think it's going to be 3 weeks. That's a guess. We don't know. We don't know. But I think he's going to think it's 2 weeks. Lamar's been pretty banged up, it looks like. I think that's some of the reason why some of his stats are down as well. Like he's been pretty banged up. So the fact that he's going to be not playing for 2-3 weeks, maybe he'll be fresher for the playoffs, etc. Run game not great in this one. Kenyon Drake 7 for 29 yards. Gus Edwards 16, 6 attempts and 12 yards. Not much offense period in this one on either team. They couldn't run the ball at all. Ronnie Stanley missed this game again, and it showed. The line not nearly as good. Patrick McCurry was injured as well in this one, in and out. He's in and out of the lineup. Daniel Falele, so they were down to their third left tackle, and he didn't play as well this time. He's played well before, but he was really getting beat a lot. And to be fair, though, that Denver defense, really, really good. All year long, they haven't given up much offense to anybody. So yeah, it showed in the run game where they were getting beat up front a lot more than they have been the last several weeks. Mark Andrews returned 4 attempts, 54 catches, 53 yards. A lot of the stuff that looked like more than Mark Andrews we've seen because the quarterbacking, not as much yardage, but not as much stuff downfield. Both quarterbacks really look to him. I kind of noticed that. Sometimes you see a backup quarterback or somebody different in there, and they kind of play different. Both of these guys look to Andrews first and foremost, and Andrews, I think, looked better in this one compared to the last few weeks. Pat Queen was injured, unfortunately. He's playing well as well. Roquan Smith, 11 tackles. Quietly, 11 tackles. This guy's just tackling machine. He gets the loud ones and he gets the quiet ones. He'll have, like, I've seen him play the last few weeks. He'll have like 4 or 5 that you forget every game. You know, a guy breaks a hole, something like that. Boom, he gets behind the linebacker. Maybe 3 or 4. He gets 4 or 5 quiet tackles like every game. His tackle, I mean, he could easily have 12 or 13 in a game. So Roquan, I think, was the best of a good defensive effort. I thought. I don't know how much we can tell from that because Denver's offense is so bad. But let's give him credit. Good defensive effort. I noticed Travis Jones started right from the start. So the rookie's been starting. I think going forward, I think he's going to be very impressed with him and the D-line all year long. We have to see about the Queen injury as well. But we'll see how this is going forward. Also, too, I think whereas Rennis with Huntley, Denver's defense, I think the was really good in this game. I think the secondary is very good. Denver's secondary is very good. I kind of highlighted that before. Oh God, this guy Russell Wilson. Look at that, 17 of 22, 189. I actually heard somebody say, "Well, that was one of his better performances of the." So I don't know what to say. I really was trying to think about when I've seen this before. The only other comp I could think of was when Donovan McNabb played so many years in Philly, played well there for him for so many years, and then they traded him to Washington. And then all of a sudden, he wasn't any good. It's almost like if Andy Reid saw something or whatever, once he got out of Andy Reid's system. And this is what I'm saying with Russell. Just not, I mean, that's 189. Also, too, here with Russell, he's not alpha enough in the room. And I'm not big on the whole alpha male machine as much as some men are. Like, come on, dude. Like, Aaron Rodgers would have never stood up for some lineman or some D lineman. I mean, Aaron Rodgers would have, Peyton Manning and Tom, but they never stood for that. So, on top of the fact that he's not playing well, that's what, and it's just sad to see with Russell because he's been so good for so long. But yeah, he's got to do better than that. I mean, to say the least. You're 3-9 and your defense is top 10. Latavius Murray played for the Ravens last year. I thought he looked decent, but the Ravens have a very good run defense. I think on other teams, if they were playing somebody else, I think he did more. He got some holes, but I will say they stuck with it. They didn't get a lot, but they stuck with it. 17 carries, 47 yards. Nothing from the wide receivers in this game. This guy did most of the damage. Greg Durlich, I think the wide receivers were hurt. I believe Curtis Sutton got hurt during the game. 6 to 85. This is the only route oxygen that Russell had. He kind of was thrown to the tight ends with a little bit of success here during the game. Denver's defense, outstanding. I thought Justin Simmons, 2 picks. The one was ridiculous. That one from Crochet. I don't know what he was thinking. He should have not threw that. I mean, that's obvious. I mean, Harbaugh didn't even defend that terrible, terrible throw that he made. Their defense is really good. Justin Simmons and Pat Surtain are as good as you get on the back end. So very good defense there from the Broncos. Broncos have no offense. Ravens definitely would have lost this game had it been for had they had any offense. Had they been playing a team that could score, but they weren't. They did enough. Defense played well enough to win. So definitely going to have to do better in this next game or better period on offense. And they're going to have to do it with a backup quarterback most likely for sure this week because you are not going to have you're not going to have Lamar Jackson this week. It's Steelers week. Let's talk about this. So the Steelers and the Ravens, 8-4. So they're 8-4 against Pittsburgh, 5-7. I'm still wanting to say Heinz Field, Assure Stadium in Pittsburgh, the former Heinz Field there. As a Ravens fan, there's nothing worse to see ever than those disgusting, terrible towels that they wear. It's terrible. It's awful to see those terrible towels. Steelers fans annoy me to tune in. Trust me, I tell you, I have a brother and a sister who are Steelers fans, and they are just beyond annoying, beyond annoying with that. So I don't hear as much this year though, obviously, because they're 5-7. But for those of you like who still live in Baltimore or Baltimore, it's the one thing I do miss about living in Baltimore, and I don't anymore, is going to like an event like this and having Raven fans around. Like, you don't know how many times I've sat in a bar, sat in a restaurant, whatever, and it's Raven, and it's nothing but Steeler fans were up here. That was terrible. So, digressing, gets to the game. Steelers, no longer, for years and years, they had they had Ben Roethlisberger, Hall of Fame. He went ahead and retired last year. Now they drafted Kenny Pickett. I thought they were slow to put him in. Mitchell Trubisky, I could have told them that didn't work. This is their guy going forward. I think he's progressing along. 4 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He's been better in recent weeks. I don't know what the ceiling is for him because he's in a division with really tough quarterbacks. He's got Lamar in this division. You got Joe Burrow, and you're going to have Deshaun Watson. So I'm going to get to that too. It's going to be tough for them. I think Kenny Pickett, from what I've seen so far, he looks decent. I think for sure, if it works, he's got pieces around him that are really good. Najee Harris. Not quite as good this year, in my opinion, as he's been, but not bad. I mean, this if they keep him healthy, 175 yards, 671 rushing, 4 touchdowns. In and out of lineup a little bit with injury. Big bruising back from Alabama. Got a lot of talent there. Definitely, he's a guy. You better put 2 guys on him, wrap around him. Not quite a Derrick Henry, but definitely a guy that you have to go ahead and do. Definitely a guy you have to go ahead and keep up with, wrap up. Derrick Henry maybe is the wrong cut, like Alvin Kamara-ish when I see him. The thing is, with Pittsburgh, the line isn't as good, so he hasn't been as good. So that's the thing. Solid tight end as well. Pat Fairmouth, drafted in the draft last year along with Najee Harris. I think he was in the 2nd round. And having a decent season, 50 receptions, 597 and 1 TD. Decent group of receivers in Pittsburgh as well, all the way around. George Pickens, 2nd round pick for him. They did get rid of Chase Claypool for him, so they got a 2nd round pick for that. And Deontay Johnson is the number 1 receiver. He's been injured though a little bit in and out of the lineup, so they have a decent enough receiving core. I think their offense is still a work in progress along with Pickett. Offensive line, not great for Pittsburgh. I think it's definitely the weakest part of their team. Defense is terrible most of the year. They're picking up lately because this guy's been back, TJ Watt. So only a sack and a half. So he's still kind of working his way back in. The strength last year for the Steelers and for so many years for Pittsburgh has been their really good defense. I thought they really struggled this year, a lot this year. Mike Fitzpatrick is there. Mick Fitzpatrick, hopefully I'm saying it right. Mick Fitzpatrick, Cam Hayward, and then they've had guys that haven't really played well. Cortland Sutton's kind of been picking it up, but the defense hasn't been playing well. I think now that they've had Watt back in, and he's kind of working his way in, I think it's steadily improved. But they definitely a tough to contend with now on defense. I think with Watt back, I think it's more representative. It's not what we know it as a Steeler defense, but it's been better in recent weeks. So 2 guys on offense for us that are needed. I think I mentioned Ronnie Stanley already last week. Didn't play. You're going to need him if you're going to play Pittsburgh. I haven't read the injury report today as we're recording this. So hopefully he plays. It definitely looked different. McCary is kind of one thing if he plays the whole game. But if he plays, I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's I think it looks different with McCurry too because he's not as dominant, but he's more serviceable, solid at left tackle. I think Falele didn't play as well, and if you're going to go up against a TJ Watt, if you have Ronnie Stanley, that's going to make a huge difference. This week also, chance we see Marcus Williams back in there at free safety. This defense has looked really good. Man, if you get Marcus Williams in there with the way Hamilton's developed, it can really be good. This offense, this defense. So I really think hopefully we have Marcus. Now, I don't know that he's going to play, but there have been indicators that he's going to play. I don't know if he's going to be active. He has been practicing for the last few weeks. So I think we'll see him this week. If I had to bet, I would think we'd see him this week. For sure, I think in the next game, we'll see him. I have no idea how this is going to go. Most people are picking the Steelers to win because the Ravens there's no Lamar and so banged up. I think we have a shot. Steelers may win this game. I think it'll be close. I'm not going to even predict it for sure because I don't know. I think it'll be very close. This will be one of these Ravens-Steeler games down to the end, down to the last minute, down to possession, whichever way it goes. It'll be close. This won't be one way or the other. I think Pittsburgh is coming around. Offensively, they're still a bit challenged from what I've seen. Although Pick is coming around, he still kind of sputters. I've seen him at the start in a lot of games. So there you go. So we're going ahead and review the last game and preview the Steelers game. So it's Steeler week. So definitely don't miss this game. Never miss a Steeler game. Never miss the opportunity to go ahead and beat the Squealers in Heinz, the former Heinz Field, rather. So never miss out on that opportunity. Why would you want to miss that as well? So on Sunday, hopefully Ravens, we can beat the Steelers. Okay, so a lot happened this week, especially in baseball. A lot happened. We're going to get to that. But I do want to talk about this one here. So, all right. So this week is happening. Maryland involved somewhat with the Navy playing midshipmen playing against the Black Knights. So the game is at 3:00 at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. They call it the Link in Philly. The Black Knights of Army versus the Navy midshipmen. So I always had interest in this game, even though I'm from Maryland, from Baltimore near Annapolis. I was in the reserves at one point, Army reserves. So the first thing I always want to do is always salute these men and women that are in the military out here fighting, especially these young men on the field. Couple things first before I get to the QBs. One, this is a lot of talk this week about Deion Sanders taking a job in Colorado. That was big news. You left Jackson State, Colorado. Is a lot of instances on this side. This is the opposite of that. This probably is the toughest recruiting job in all of college football. You need D1 players that don't want to go pro, or if they are good enough to go pro, they have to wait because they have a service commitment. So this is very hard to do. And I'm surprised they win as many games as they do, both of these teams. So shout out to both of these teams for showing up. I don't think this is for Commander-in-Chief's trophy this time. But definitely shout out to these guys and everything. I always watch the Army-Navy game. I have my Army stuff on when I actually go ahead and watch this. So it'll be very good to see. Two old school-ish type offenses. Cade Ballard and Tyler Tyler for Army. Old schoolish in the sense that they both rotate quarterbacks. These two guys are seniors. They both kind of run triple option. Navy definitely, especially with these two guys, Xavier Arline and Massacon Maynard. These two guys actually rotate in and out. So Arline is kind of the Maynard is kind of the passer. Arline is kind of the runner. they rotate in and out. I mean, if you watch this game, you might see 3 guys actually in there as well. Run the ball, triple option. So I'm gonna have to explain. Triple option is okay. So you have a quarterback, and they may fake the run it themselves, or toss it to a fullback, a second running back. Sometimes you'll see full house backfield with both of these teams, where they go ahead and full house means 3 running backs. So you have fullback, running back, wing back. Offense is so old. I think they're pretty much now, if you're like me, my age in the 80s, there were several college teams that used to run that. Nobody else does it. And it's because I think of what I said to recruit. It's very cool to see the Army and Navy guys there during the beginning. Game is always competitive. Night's Army 2 playing, 6 wins, so this is big, so they can go to a bowl game. They have a possibility to be bowl eligible at least to actually go ahead and win this game. So definitely check this out, Army and Navy. The game is going to be in Baltimore sooner rather than later. I think, I'm not sure if it's 2025 when the game. So in a few years, I think they'll have. They're not going to be. They used for many years they were just in Philadelphia, so they're kind of rotating it around a little bit here. So definitely check it out. I always do Army and Navy game as well, it really is these really is a tip of the cap to these young men out here doing that. These jobs, and I'll say this too. This is anybody that served in the military. I mean, reserves is about as easy as it ever gets. This is going to West Point, going to Annapolis is super hard. Outside of a deployment, obviously, I mean, it's very difficult. I couldn't imagine you trying to play football doing what these guys are doing. So all these guys are rock stars to me as far as I'm concerned with that. So definitely tip of the cap to those young men on both sides. All right. So let's go to larger NFL content. So let's do the Big 5. So 3-2 last week. Good slate of games last week. And good contest last week. Kansas City and Cincinnati was an outstanding game. I thought the Jets in Minnesota was really, really good. Really devastating. I think we lost the quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo getting hurt for San Fran changes the map a lot for them. So yeah, big games last week. Good slate of games. This week, the Jets again, another tough game. Going into Orchard Park against the Bills. Jets fought hard against Minnesota. Somebody say something good about Minnesota. I know this is Jets, but somebody say something good about Minnesota, please. They're 10-2 for God's sake. Give them something. My goodness. Jets deserve credit too. Jets, I think, played well. I think Mike White was just a play away, couple instances away from winning that game. I think Bills. Some people say they're back on track. I don't think they ever were that far off track. They look pretty good. I think this is probably they have a lot to play for too. I think they're the better team, and they're the number 1 seed. I don't think Jets have enough offense. I think Mike White, he looked decent though, but just not enough. I don't think you got enough against Josh Allen to go ahead and do that. Very good Bills. I keep saying that. Very good Bills defense. So let's see how he does. I think against now Mike White against a really, really good defense with the Bills. I like the Bills in this one. Giants, fresh off a tie against the Commanders. It's always weird when you have a tie there. Philadelphia won again last week. I think they've only lost one game to Commanders all season long. They've been fantastic. A.J. Brown. Oh, God. I so want that for Lamar, man. Like a guy like A.J. Brown. You make a trade like that, and he was fantastic against Tennessee. Giants are getting exposed more and more. Daniel Jones hasn't really stepped up for him. Defense is good. I think their effort. Look, this team's fighting hard. Give them credit. I think their record doesn't match the talent, but they're definitely well coached. They're definitely fighting hard. Eagles, and I think they're still motivated too. They're in the top. They got a team right behind them. Minnesota trying to take that number 1 seed, and I think they're trying to get the number 1 seed, like Eagles in this one. Oh wow! Here, Tampa Bay just squeaked by on Monday against New Orleans, so they were able to be successful to get it win. Bigger than what they think. They even with Brady, they really struggled against New Orleans. So a win at all, they should be happy with that. I think New Orleans is better than their record. I think they're a quarterback away in New Orleans. I think if they had Drew Brees or a decent solid quarterback from being a good team, there's a lot of good pieces there. So Tampa Bay, they get the win. The Niners, so no Jimmy Garoppolo. Now you got Brock Purdy that's going to go the rest of the way. Schefter was like maybe he could come back 7-8 weeks. Maybe. It'll be Brock Purdy going forward. It'll all be depending on how he does. I'm going to pick Tampa. I'm not going to think a third-string quarterback is going to be Tom Brady. Although the Bucs haven't exactly instilled a lot of confidence. Offense is still anemic in Tampa. You got to score more points. But they are showing up at the right time. They are showing up situation. In the fourth quarter, if it's close, you got to go with Tom Brady. I mean, that's what he's still doing that for sure. He hasn't lost that. The first 3 quarters, he hasn't scored as many points. But the rest in the fourth, he's still showing up. Here's a big one. Dolphins against the Chargers going into Los Angeles in the SoFi. I think the coolest looking stadium in the whole NFL. Dolphins, all this Tua got exposed stuff. I don't get it. I mean, he was decent last week. I mean, I don't. I mean, he wasn't. I mean, he hasn't good as he's been, but Tua's good enough. Tua's not the problem. This is a good Dolphins team. They're really good. Chargers, I don't know. Talent-wise, they should be there, but they and also too they're in tough. They've had some close losses, but I think this would be the thing that would really propel them if they have any shot. They gotta win out. They gotta go for it. I'm a go with gut here and go with the Chargers. Dolphins. I got a bad feeling about the Dolphins going forward. As good as they played, good as they played going forward. Defensively, they got to start. They got to do a little better. They got boat race pretty good, 33 points against Jimmy Garoppolo and Purdy. And one more, Browns and the Bengals here. Browns are here in the Big Five because Deshaun Watson is here. He last week debuted, played his first game. I think it was 700 some days. That's what's going on. So finally back on the field for the Browns, and he's playing against Cincinnati. Big division game for them. So I think the Bengals, very good win for them. I think maybe a little bit of a letdown, believe it or not, even though this is a division game for them. I like Cincinnati a little bit in this one. This will be close. I would say, I think everybody's forgetting how good Deshaun Watson is. He didn't play particularly low last week because he didn't play so long. They're going to be a factor with Deshaun Watson playing like the Deshaun Watson. There's a reason why the Browns spent so much money on Deshaun Watson. There's a reason why there were teams bidding on him despite of his troubles and his behavior. So I don't know if they win this one. I think this one would be a lot closer than what everybody thinks. So I'm going to take the Bengals by about 3 or 4 points in this one. All right, so there you go. Big Five. So definitely our Big Five. definitely go ahead and enjoy all the games this weekend. Okay, baseball. Get off there. A lot to get to with baseball. I wanted to talk about Orioles free agency and Mike Elias, especially. We're definitely going to go there. We're going to drill down on the Orioles as well. A lot happened with Hot Stove. And I'm speaking in Oriole context. I'm going to talk about the larger MLB and Elias contract, but I want to speak also in Oriole context as well. So look at this. The Mets contract kind of started off. Jacob deGrom, 5 years with the Rangers, 185 from the Mets. Justin Verlander goes from the Astros to the Mets, 2 years, 86 million, about 43 million per. The discount one, the great Clayton Kershaw, 1 year, 20 million, resigned with the Dodgers. I don't think he was ever interested in leaving, going to another team. That's why the lower amount for him. Trey Turner, 11 years, $300 million. That's about right. What I thought he did. He was probably behind Judge, the number 2 free agent out there. Signed with the Phillies. So that's a surprise. I put this guy here, Josh Bell, guy I had my eye on, kind of going on the radar. He got more than what I thought. 2 years, $33 million from the Guardians as well. And there's another one. It's been happening as I've been recording, so do apologize here. Jamison Talon, another guy Orioles had their eye on, pitched for the Yankees last year, 4 years, $68 million. He went ahead and signed with the Cubs. Aaron Judge deal looks like it's done. 3 years, 9 years, $360 million. So average of $40 million per. Wilson Contreras, and he goes ahead and signs with the Cardinals, it looks like. So Yadier go ahead and retire, and he go ahead and he signs with the Cardinals, St. Louis Cardinals, because they, again, the whole Yadier and Molina there. So he was probably the best catcher on the free agent market. Look at those numbers. Oh, wow. Oh, Judge doesn't surprise me that that's what he got after the year he had. He was gonna get that time number. Trey Turner doesn't surprise me at all with that. The pitcher market I was saying was going to be like $30 million, because that's what Scherzer and these guys were getting. I mean, the numbers were at $30 million. So I'm pretty sure it was going to be like Rodon. I don't think he signed. If he did, I didn't see it before I started recording. That number for sure is going to be around 40. These numbers are staggering. That's a lot of money that these teams are spending. And you see a certain group of teams spending money. And I think I'm going to do a video on that, explaining that big and small market teams. Orioles context, and I'm going to get to that now. Like, we don't have that kind of money. Well, it's certainly not me, but the Orioles organization doesn't have that kind of money. I don't think they come out and say that. I think like admitting you're a small market team and you can't afford that. I could be wrong. I hope I am. I hope I'm wrong, and maybe they just would. But I'm looking at some of these numbers. I don't think they were in the running for any of those guys. I know like Jamison Talon, I think, was a name I kept hearing. He signed for like $17 million per. That's about what I thought. I thought it would be something like, but it was even a little bit more. I had like 15, 16 million. It was about 17. That's right, because there were multiple bidders. So they probably had to go up to 17. These are their numbers in baseball. All right. And I think that is what us as fans have to realize as Oriole fans. The Orioles just don't have resources to compete with that. Mike Elias, and I think he's done a fantastic job under very trying circumstances. They don't have resources for that. I can't imagine the Orioles want to give Trey Turner $300 million. I mean, I don't think they were. I haven't heard the Orioles name. I've heard the name connected with some of the pitchers they've been calling. But I don't think the Orioles are going to be able to do that, which is why my bigger concern about the pitching, because you can't. Those are the price of pitching. Kind of use the comp for Ravens and wide receivers. That's what it costs. A.J. Brown was fantastic on Sunday. It's cost him the first round. It cost him a lot of money. It costs a lot of money. So you have to go ahead and do that if you're going to go ahead and get some of these pitching. You don't just go out and just, I mean, Teague's just smart, man. Starting pitching is a whole lot in baseball. Orioles did do something. Kyle Gibson, 1 year, $10 million. He played with the Phillies last year, didn't pitch much. Looking him up, he was really good with Texas beginning of last year. 2021, he started out like 6-0. And then he was traded, I think, at the deadline, right around deadline. And he struggled a bit with the Phillies once he actually got there. This is kind of what I mean. First of all, here's one thing. You must think he's better than Jordan. You either did two things. I'm hoping this is the latter. You either misjudged the market, which I hope Mike Elias and the Royals didn't do, or you must think he's way better. He's much better. That it's one of those two things. One of those two things has to be true. You either think that he's better, or you misjudge the market, because this is the same contract you could have gave Jordan Lyles, who performed decent enough for you last year. So this is also what you did. Norman Mazzara, you signed him to a minor league deal. This is kind of what the Orioles are going to live. This is what I'm thinking. Again, could be wrong. Michael Elias hasn't come out and say it, but I think the resources thing is a real thing. He's good at drafting players. He's good at developing players. He's good at getting minor league players. But I don't think they can go ahead and bid on these top flight free agents and do that. There are some still out there, so we'll still see. Rodon at this recording time hadn't signed. Carlos Rodon, I hadn't seen him sign. Darby Swanson, Carlos Correa. I know the Orioles for sure have had contact with him. I think they did last year as well. But that's what's just going to go. Do you have the money to bid? Baseball players especially take the money. Unlike example, like the opposite, like Pujols, the end of his career, we signed with St. Louis. Kershaw, been there his whole career, older. These baseball guys don't do that. they there's no cap, and you better bid. So exciting stuff though, all the way around. And let's see how our Orioles do going forward. I also Mike Elias, I think, has done an outstanding job. Let's just say that. But can he get the pitching that he needs to sustain the success? I'm questioning that. Not that I'm questioning his ability, but I'm questioning if that's possible. If I'm him, I'm really drilling down draft wise and things like that. I think they're picking my 17th in the draft. I'm pitching. Pitcher. You got to go ahead and do that. You're going to have to draft pitchers because I don't think you're going to have the money to afford that. There are some pitchers maybe available in trade. We'll see. I think that might be something you might be able to pull out more, but these free agents you're not going to do it. I'd be surprised. The Rodon, if DeGrom got $37 million a year, Carlos Rodon might get like 42 or 43. So we'll see. Very exciting stuff. This free agency, a lot happening as well in the MLB. So definitely. So next week on our stream, we'll go ahead and get squared away. We'll go ahead and review the Ravens and the Steelers. So we'll definitely go ahead and look at that. pull this up for you. There you go. So Ravens and Steelers. So definitely enjoy. Let's go ahead and hopefully we're on here next week talking about a victory over the Squealers, and go ahead and those super annoying Steeler fans. We can tell them where to go. All right, and then after this game, we got this one here. The Ravens going against the Browns. So definitely First Energy Stadium. If I'm not mistaken, I think this has been moved to Saturday, not Sunday. So it's Saturday at 4:30, I think. Well, it definitely is Saturday at 4:30. I don't know if it was always there. I think it was on Sunday before. I had to look that up, but I think this game is Saturday on NFL Network. So definitely we're going to go ahead and preview this game here. And also we're going to talk about this here as well. Free agency. We're going to go into other topics with the Orioles as well. That's the wrong bracket. Attendance. Where are you at the stadium? So we're going to talk about topics like that around the business of the Orioles as well. We're going to talk about Orioles attendance. I have plenty to say about the network. Massive, the lousy sports network that they have. So we're definitely going to go into that as well. So thank you for watching us this week on our main stream. Definitely check us out going forward on all of our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, etc. So definitely check us out on all of those. So thank you. Go ahead, Steelers. You have a great day.